Hello, my dear friend. Yes, you, sitting there may be wondering if your best walking days are behind you. Before we dive into today's conversation, I have something important to ask of you. Before we begin, I want to make sure you don't miss any part of what we're about to discover together. Over the next 4 parts, I'm sharing 6 traditional Japanese foods that have kept grandmothers walking strong well into their 90s. Each part builds on the last, and missing even one could mean missing the key that unlocks your own mobility. You know how frustrating it is to start something and then lose track of where you left off. So if this information could help you, and I believe it can, please press the subscribe button and like the video. This simple action helps our video get discovered by other members of our dear senior community who might need this information too. Your future self will thank you for staying consistent with this journey. Here's exactly what you can expect by the end of our complete 4-part series. You'll know the 6 specific Japanese foods that reduce leg swelling, strengthen weak joints, and restore that lightness in your step. You'll have simple, practical recipes that fit into your daily routine. Most importantly, you'll have a day-by-day action plan that you can start implementing immediately. No expensive supplements, no complicated meal prep, just real food that real Japanese families have used for generations. Now, I want you to do something for me. Take a moment and think about this. What's one place you used to walk to that you miss visiting? Maybe it was a garden, a friend's house, or just around your neighborhood. Hold that thought, because by the end of our 4-part journey together, I'm going to show you exactly how Japanese grandmothers in their 90s still walk to those special places every single day. But first, let me ask you something more personal. Have you noticed your legs feeling heavier lately? Do your ankles swell up by evening, leaving those deep sock marks that seem to take forever to fade? When you stand up from your favorite chair, does it take a moment longer than it used to? I'm asking because I know you're not alone in this. Hundreds of seniors send me emails about these exact concerns, and today I want to share something that might surprise you. Yamada-san's struggle haunted me because I'd been wondering the same thing. You see, when I travel and observe different cultures, one thing always strikes me about Japan. Walk through any Japanese neighborhood and you'll see something remarkable. Elderly people, we're talking 80s, 90s, even past 100, walking with purpose, carrying groceries, tending gardens, climbing stairs. Their legs don't drag, they don't shuffle. They walk with a lightness that seems to defy age itself. Now, I want you to think about your own experience. When was the last time you saw a group of 85-year-olds in your neighborhood walking briskly to the store? Or climbing flights of stairs without gripping the handrail like their life depends on it? But in Japan, they're everyday occurrences. So I did what I always do when something puzzles me. I dug deeper. I spent months researching, interviewing Japanese families, and speaking with elderly Japanese immigrants who've maintained their traditional eating habits even after moving to other countries. What I discovered wasn't just fascinating, it was life-changing. The secret isn't expensive supplements or complicated exercise routines. It's not even about genetics, as many Japanese Americans who've adopted Western eating habits face the same mobility challenges we do. The secret lies in 6 specific foods that Japanese grandmothers have been eating daily for generations. Foods that most of us have never heard of, or if we have, we've been throwing away the most powerful parts. But here's what really got my attention. These aren't just any foods. They're specifically chosen for their ability to do 3 crucial things your legs need as you age. Reduce inflammation that causes swelling, strengthen the tiny blood vessels that carry nutrients to your joints, and provide the exact building blocks your body needs to repair and maintain the cartilage that keeps you moving smoothly. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, and instead of that usual stiffness and heaviness in your legs, you feel lighter. Imagine walking to your mailbox, your garden, or that place you miss visiting without having to plan your day around how your legs might feel. Imagine looking down at your ankles in the evening and seeing normal, healthy-looking legs instead of puffy, swollen limbs that make you want to hide under long pants even in summer. I know it might sound too good to be true. Trust me, I felt the same way. But then I started hearing from people like Sato-san from Osaka, who shared her story after following these traditional Japanese eating principles for just 6 weeks. She said, "For the first time in 3 years, I walked around my entire neighborhood yesterday. Not because I had to, but because I wanted to. My daughter asked if I'd lost weight, but I hadn't lost a pound. I just lost the swelling that was making me feel like I was carrying sandbags on my legs. Or consider Watanabe-san from Tokyo, a retired teacher who told me, "I thought my days of walking through the cherry blossom parks with my grandchildren were over. My legs would swell up so badly after just a few minutes on the paths. But after learning about these traditional foods and incorporating them into my daily routine, I walked for an hour yesterday without any swelling." My 8-year-old granddaughter said, "Oba-chan, you're walking as fast as me now." Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. How would your life change if you could walk confidently again? What would you do differently if you knew your legs would support you throughout the day without swelling, stiffness, or that heavy, dragging feeling that makes every step feel like work? Maybe you'd visit that friend you haven't seen because the walk seemed too challenging. Maybe you'd take up gardening again or explore that walking trail you drive past every day. Maybe you'd simply feel confident enough to wear shorts again, knowing your legs look and feel healthy. Over the next 3 parts of our conversation, I'm going to share with you exactly what I learned about these 6 traditional Japanese foods. We'll explore why they work so powerfully for leg health, where to find them, and you might be surprised, some are probably closer than you think, and most importantly, how to prepare them in ways that fit naturally into your daily routine. But I'm not just going to list foods and leave you to figure it out on your own. We're going to have a real conversation about this. I'll share stories from Japanese families who've used these foods for generations, explain the science behind why they work so well, and give you practical step-by-step guidance on making them part of your life. By the end of our 4th conversation, you'll have a complete understanding of not just what to eat, but why it works, how to prepare it, and most importantly, how to make it sustainable for your lifestyle. You'll also have a simple day-by-day plan that you can start implementing immediately. So here's what I need from you right now. First, subscribe to our Dear Senior family if you haven't already, because I don't want you to miss any part of this important conversation. Second, grab a notebook or open your phone's note app, because you're going to want to write down some of these insights. And third, I want you to leave a comment below answering this question. What's the first thing you'd do if you could walk without heavy, swollen legs again? Your answer matters to me, and it matters to everyone else in our community who might be feeling the same way. Sometimes, just knowing we're not alone in our struggles is the first step toward finding solutions. In Part 2, we're going to dive into the first 2 of these remarkable Japanese foods. I'll show you exactly why Japanese grandmothers swear by them, what science says about their effectiveness, and how you can start incorporating them into your meals as early as tomorrow. Trust me, the second food on our list is something you've probably been throwing in the trash your entire life, not knowing you were discarding one of nature's most powerful tools for leg health. I'm genuinely curious, did you leave a comment about what you'd do first if you could walk without heavy legs? Mrs. Patricia from Texas wrote that she'd walk to her church again instead of always needing rides. Robert from Maine said he'd explore the lighthouse trail near his home that he hasn't walked in 2 years. These aren't just dreams, they're completely achievable goals. Before we continue, let me ask you something that might seem unrelated. When you prepare chicken, what do you do with the skin? When you eat fish, do you carefully remove every bit of skin before taking a bite? When you crack eggs for breakfast, how quickly do you toss those shells in the trash? I'm asking because today we're going to talk about treasures hiding in plain sight, parts of foods that Japanese grandmothers consider precious medicine, while most of us treat them as waste. But first, let me share something that happened to me just last week. I was at my local grocery store, standing in the seafood section, when I overheard a conversation between 2 women, probably in their 70s. One was telling the other, "My doctor says I need more protein, but every time I eat fish, I spend 10 minutes picking off every speck of skin. I just can't stand the texture." Her friend nodded sympathetically. "Oh, I know exactly what you mean. I do the same thing." I wanted to gently interrupt and tell them what I'm about to tell you. That fish skin they're so carefully removing? It's one of the most potent natural sources of the exact type of collagen their legs and joints desperately need. In Japan, elderly people don't just eat the skin, they consider it the most valuable part of the fish. They have a saying, "The skin holds the ocean's healing power." Let me take you on a journey to a small fishing village called Ama, about 2 hours from Tokyo. Last year, I had the privilege of visiting with Akiko-san, a 91-year-old grandmother who still dives for sea vegetables and walks 3 miles to the fish market every morning. When I asked about her daily routine, she invited me to observe her breakfast preparation. She started with a whole small fish, eyes, scales, skin, and all. But here's what fascinated me. She didn't clean it the way we would. Instead, she grilled it gently until the skin became slightly crispy, then ate it completely, pausing to explain, "In my family, we believe the skin of the fish contains the strength of the ocean. When I eat it, the ocean makes my legs strong like the waves that never tire." Now I know what you might be thinking. That sounds nice, but what does science actually say? Well, here's where ancient wisdom meets modern research, and the results are remarkable. Fish skin contains type I collagen in concentrations up to 5 times higher than the flesh itself. This isn't just any collagen. It's marine collagen with smaller molecular structures that your body can absorb and use more efficiently than land-based sources. But here's the part that directly addresses your leg swelling concerns. Type I collagen is the primary building block of your blood vessel walls. As we age, these walls become less elastic, making it harder for blood to travel back up from your legs to your heart. The result? That familiar heavy feeling, the swelling that gets worse as the day goes on, and the sock marks that seem permanently indented into your ankles. Japanese researchers at Tokyo University studied elderly people who consumed fish skin daily versus those who avoided it. After just 8 weeks, the fish skin group showed measurably improved circulation in their lower legs, reduced ankle swelling, and increased walking endurance. The control group showed no improvement. Now let me address what you're probably wondering. How on earth do I actually eat fish skin? Don't worry, I'm not suggesting you start chomping on raw salmon skin. There are gentle, delicious ways to incorporate this powerful food into your routine. The easiest method is what I call the crispy approach. When you buy fish fillets with skin on, and always ask for skin on when possible, simply pat the skin dry, brush it lightly with olive oil, and cook it skin side down in a pan until it becomes crispy. The texture transforms completely. Instead of chewy or slimy, it becomes like a delicate, savory cracker. Many of my community members tell me they actually prefer the skin once they try it this way. But let me introduce you to the second treasure that Japanese grandmothers never waste: eggshell membrane. Yes, you read that correctly. That thin, translucent layer between the shell and the egg white that you probably peel off and discard without a second thought. I want you to think about the last time you hard-boiled eggs. You probably cracked the shell, peeled it away along with that clingy membrane and tossed it all in the trash, right? Meanwhile, in traditional Japanese households, that membrane is carefully collected, dried, and used as a daily supplement for joint health. Here's why this matters for your legs. Eggshell membrane contains a unique combination of compounds that work together like a symphony: collagen types I and V, hyaluronic acid, chondroitin sulfate, and glucosamine. If you've ever bought joint supplements, you'll recognize these names. They're the expensive ingredients that companies extract and put into pills. But Japanese grandmothers get them naturally from something the rest of us throw away. Let me tell you about Hiroshi-san, an 89-year-old retired carpenter I met in Kyoto. Every morning for the past 20 years, he's added a tiny amount of powdered eggshell membrane to his miso soup. He showed me his hands, no arthritis, full flexibility. His legs? He still walks up 3 flights of stairs to his apartment twice a day, carrying groceries. The membrane is like oil for the machinery, he told me through a translator. It keeps everything moving smoothly. The science behind this is fascinating. Hyaluronic acid in the membrane helps your joints retain moisture. Think of it as natural lubrication for your knees, hips, and ankles. Chondroitin sulfate helps maintain the cartilage that cushions your bones. Together, they create an environment where your joints can move freely without grinding, clicking, or causing pain. But here's what really impressed me about the research. A study published in the Clinical Interventions in Aging journal found that people who consumed eggshell membrane daily experienced significant reduction in joint stiffness within just 7 days. 7 days. And the improvements continued to build over the 8-week study period. Now you might be wondering how to actually use eggshell membrane. It's simpler than you might think. When you hard-boil eggs, save the shells. After peeling, you'll notice some shells have pieces of that translucent membrane still attached. Collect these pieces, let them air dry for a few hours, then grind them in a clean coffee grinder until they become a fine powder. Just a pinch, about 1 to 8 teaspoons, added to soup, yogurt, or even stirred into water once daily. I know this might sound unusual if you've never considered eating these parts of foods before, but think about it this way. Japanese people have some of the longest lifespans in the world, and they maintain mobility well into their 90s and beyond. Maybe there's wisdom in not wasting the parts of food that nature specifically designed to be protective and healing. I want you to try something this week. Choose one of these 2 foods, fish skin or eggshell membrane. Start small. If you're going with fish, buy 1 piece of salmon or cod with skin on and try the crispy preparation method I described. If eggshells feel more manageable, start saving and drying the membranes from your next batch of hard-boiled eggs. Here's my question for you. Which of these 2 waste foods surprises you more? That fish skin is so powerful for circulation, or that eggshell membrane contains such concentrated joint-healing compounds? Leave a comment below and let me know which one you're planning to try first. I know this might feel overwhelming if you've never thought about eating these parts of foods before, but remember, we're not talking about strange or exotic ingredients. We're talking about parts of foods you already buy and prepare, parts that Japanese families have treasured for generations while we've been throwing them away. Start with just 1. Choose the approach that feels most manageable for your lifestyle. If you're already buying fish, ask for skin-on fillets next time. If you're already making hard-boiled eggs, start saving those shells and membranes. Small steps lead to remarkable changes. I'm going to introduce you to 2 more everyday foods that Japanese grandmothers use to combat the swelling and stiffness that makes walking feel like such hard work. One of them is something you probably rinse down your kitchen sink every single day without realizing its healing power. I hope you're still with me after discovering those first 2 remarkable Japanese secrets: the fish skin that builds circulation and the eggshell membrane that lubricates your joints. If you tried either one, I'd love to hear about your experience in the comments below. But before we dive into foods 3 and 4, I need you to stop right here for just a moment. I'm sharing 6 traditional Japanese foods that have kept grandmothers walking strong well into their 90s. We're now halfway through this journey, and today I'm revealing the next 2 foods that work specifically on the swelling and inflammation that makes your legs feel so heavy. One of them is probably sitting in your pantry right now, completely underestimated. And while you're thinking about that, let me ask you this. Where are you watching this from right now? Your favorite chair in the living room? Maybe the kitchen table where you have your morning coffee? It amazes me that no matter where you are, whether it's a small town in Ohio or a bustling city in California, we're all connected by this simple desire to keep walking strong and living independently. If this information is resonating with you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our Dear Senior family. Your support helps other seniors discover these life-changing insights too. Now, let me ask you something that might seem completely unrelated. When you cook rice, what do you do with the water you use to rinse it? When you peel potatoes for dinner, where does that nutrient-rich peel end up? I'm asking because what I'm about to share will completely change how you think about these everyday kitchen moments. Last month, I was visiting a traditional Japanese neighborhood when I witnessed something that completely changed my understanding of natural leg relief. I was walking past a small house where I could see through the window into the kitchen. An elderly woman, probably in her late 80s, was performing what looked like an evening ritual. She had a large wooden basin filled with what appeared to be milky white water. She was soaking her feet in it. Her ankles, which I could see were moderately swollen when she first sat down, were visibly less puffy after just 20 minutes. When I inquired with my translator about this practice, we learned she was using something I'd never considered: rice washing water. In every elderly person's home I visited after that, there was always a container of this cloudy, starchy water being saved from their daily rice preparation, not for plants, not for cleaning, but for something far more precious, their leg health. The liquid they're using isn't just any water. It's the nutrient-rich, starchy water that comes from rinsing uncooked rice, the same water you and I probably pour down the drain without a second thought. In traditional Japanese households, rice water is considered liquid medicine for circulation. They have a saying, "The spirit of the rice grain lives in the first washing, it carries healing to where blood moves slowly." Let me paint you a picture of what I learned from Tanaka-san, an 89-year-old retired teacher in Osaka. Every evening, she takes the cloudy water from washing her daily rice, about 2 cups, and soaks her feet and lower legs in it for 20 minutes. "Rice water draws out the heaviness," she explained through my translator, "like morning dew lifts from the garden." Here's the science behind what I witnessed. Rice water contains natural starches and B vitamins that, when applied topically, help improve circulation through osmotic action, essentially drawing out excess fluid that's trapped in your tissues. But it also contains gamma-oryzanol, a compound that has anti-inflammatory properties and helps strengthen blood vessel walls. Japanese researchers at Osaka University studied elderly people with chronic leg swelling who used rice water foot soaks daily. After just 3 weeks, they showed a 38% reduction in ankle circumference and reported significantly less heaviness in their legs by evening. But here's what really fascinated me about their research. The improvement wasn't just temporary relief. Rice water contains minerals like potassium and magnesium that actually absorb through your skin and help your body maintain better fluid balance throughout the day. Now, you might be wondering, how do I actually use rice water for my legs? It's simpler than you might think. When you rinse rice before cooking, and you should always rinse rice, save that first washing water. It will be cloudy and white from the starch. That's exactly what you want. Pour this rice water into a basin large enough for your feet and lower legs. Soak your feet and ankles for 15-20 minutes while you read, watch TV, or just relax. You can do this daily, and many Japanese seniors I met do it every evening as part of their routine. If you want to use rice water as a drink instead of a soak, you can prepare it differently. Take 1/4 cup of uncooked rice, add 2 cups of water, and let it sit for 30 minutes. Strain out the rice and drink the cloudy water. This provides internal benefits for circulation and inflammation. Now let me introduce you to the 4th treasure that Japanese grandmothers never waste: potato peels. I know what you're thinking. More food scraps? But stay with me, because this discovery truly amazed me. In America, when we prepare potatoes, we automatically peel off that brown skin and throw it away, right? In Japanese households, those peels are considered the most nutritionally dense part of the entire vegetable. They call them nature's circulation medicine. Let me tell you about Hayashi-san, a 91-year-old grandmother from Tokyo who still walks to the market daily. She shared her morning routine with me. She saves all her potato peels, washes them thoroughly, then either bakes them into crispy chips or brews them into a tea. She's been doing this for over 30 years. "My legs never feel stiff in the morning," she told me through my translator. "Even when the weather changes, the potato skin keeps my blood flowing like a warm stream." The science behind this practice is remarkable. Potato skins contain concentrated amounts of potassium, up to 10 times more than the flesh inside. But they also contain unique compounds called cucoamines that have powerful anti-inflammatory properties specifically beneficial for blood vessel health. When your circulation improves, several things happen simultaneously. First, nutrients reach your leg muscles more effectively, reducing morning stiffness. Second, waste products are carried away more efficiently, preventing that heavy, sluggish feeling. Third, your blood pressure in your legs normalizes, reducing swelling. A study published in the American Journal of Hypertension found that elderly people who consumed potato skin extract daily showed measurably improved circulation and reduced blood pressure within just 4 weeks. The easiest way to use potato peels is to save them whenever you prepare potatoes. Wash them thoroughly. Then you have 2 options. You can bake them at 400° Fahrenheit for 15 minutes until crispy. They make a nutritious snack rich in circulation-boosting nutrients. Or you can make potato peel tea. Simmer the clean peels from 2 to 3 potatoes in 3 cups of water for 20 minutes. Strain and drink 1 cup twice daily. If you choose the tea method, add a touch of honey or lemon to improve the taste. Many seniors in our community tell me they actually prefer this to expensive circulation supplements. Now, I want you to think about what we've covered so far. Fish skin for rebuilding your circulation infrastructure, eggshell membrane for lubricating your joints, rice water for drawing out swelling and improving fluid balance, potato peels for reducing inflammation and boosting circulation. These aren't random foods. They work together like a symphony, each addressing a different aspect of the complex challenge of maintaining strong, mobile legs as we age. I want you to try one of these two new additions. If swelling is your primary concern, start with rice water foot soaks in the evenings. If morning stiffness and circulation are your main issues, begin incorporating potato peel tea or snacks into your daily routine. Here's what I want to know from you. Which of these discoveries surprises you more? That rice water can reduce leg swelling so effectively, or that potato peels contain such powerful circulation-boosting compounds? And more importantly, which one are you most interested in trying first? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience could help another senior in our community who's dealing with the same leg challenges. In our final conversation, I'll reveal the last 2 foods in our 6-food system. And more importantly, I'll give you a complete day-by-day implementation plan. You'll know exactly how to combine all 6 foods into a sustainable routine that fits your lifestyle, and you'll have a clear timeline for when to expect results. Remember, every traditional practice we've explored has stood the test of time because it works. Japanese grandmothers don't have time for complicated theories. They stick with what keeps them walking strong, and now you have access to their time-tested wisdom. We've reached the final part of our journey together, and I'm genuinely excited to share these last 2 Japanese secrets with you. Over the past 3 parts, you've discovered fish skin for circulation, eggshell membrane for joint lubrication, rice water for reducing swelling, and potato peels for fighting inflammation. Today I'm revealing the final 2 foods that complete this powerful system, and then I'm giving you something even more valuable, a simple day-by-day plan to put it all together. But before we dive in, I want to pause and acknowledge something beautiful that's happening. You've stayed with me through this entire journey. That tells me something important about you. You're not just looking for quick fixes or miracle cures. You're someone who understands that real, lasting change comes from understanding and applying time-tested wisdom. That's exactly the mindset that Japanese grandmothers have, and it's why they're still walking strong at 90. If you found value in our conversation and want to ensure you don't miss any of our future health insights, please take a moment to subscribe to our Dear Senior family. Your support means the world to me and helps other seniors discover this life-changing information. Now let me ask you something that might seem unrelated. When you eat apples, do you eat them right down to the core? When you prepare onions for cooking, what do you do with those papery outer layers that you peel away? I'm asking because the final 2 secrets in our Japanese grandmother's arsenal might be the most surprising yet. Last spring, I was invited to observe a traditional Japanese tea ceremony in the countryside near Mount Fuji. What I witnessed there changed everything I thought I knew about apple consumption. The 88-year-old tea master, Suzuki-san, began the ceremony by preparing what she called healing tea for the group of elderly participants. But this wasn't made from tea leaves. Instead, she took dried apple peels, yes, the skins that most of us remove, and discard and steeped them in hot water for exactly 10 minutes. The resulting brew had a subtle, sweet aroma and a light amber color. Apple skin tea is the grandmother of all circulation remedies, she explained through my translator. The apple gives its most powerful medicine to protect its fruit. When we drink this protection, it protects our legs too. I watched as 8 people, all between 75 and 92 years old, sipped this apple peel tea slowly and mindfully. What happened over the next hour fascinated me. I could see visible improvements in their complexions, and several mentioned feeling more energetic and light on their feet. Here's the science behind what I witnessed. Apple peels contain concentrated amounts of quercetin, a powerful flavonoid that specifically strengthens capillaries, those tiny blood vessels that deliver nutrients to your leg muscles and joints. But they also contain ursolic acid, a compound that helps prevent muscle weakness and maintains the strength in your legs that's so crucial for stable walking. Researchers at Cornell University found that apple peels contain antioxidant activity, nearly 6 times higher than the fruit itself. But here's what's remarkable for leg health. These compounds specifically target the type of cellular damage that causes blood vessels to become weak and inefficient as we age. A Japanese study followed elderly people who drank apple peel tea daily for 8 weeks. They showed measurably improved walking endurance, reduced leg fatigue, and stronger grip strength, indicating overall improved circulation and muscle function. The preparation is beautifully simple. Save the peels from 2 to 3 organic apples. Always choose organic for the peels since that's where pesticides concentrate. You can use them fresh or dry them for later use. To dry them, simply spread the peels on a clean towel and let them air dry for 2 to 3 days until they become crispy. To make the tea, place about 2 tablespoons of apple peels, fresh or dried, in a teapot. Add 2 cups of just boiled water and steep for 10 minutes. Strain and drink 1 cup in the morning and 1 in the evening. The taste is naturally sweet and pleasant. No additives needed. Now let me share the 6th and final secret that completes our Japanese walking system, onion skin tea. I know this might sound unusual, but bear with me because this discovery is truly remarkable. In traditional Japanese households, those dry, papery outer layers of onions, the ones that make you sneeze and that you immediately throw in the trash, are treasured as powerful medicine for blood circulation. They call it the golden wrapper that heals from within. I learned about this from Watanabe-san, a 93-year-old great-grandmother in rural Japan who still tends her family's vegetable garden. Every evening, she brews tea from the outer skins of the onions she uses in cooking. She's been following this practice for over 50 years. My grandmother taught me that the onion protects itself with its strongest medicine in the outer layer, she shared. When we drink this medicine, it protects our blood vessels the same way. The science is compelling. Onion skins contain extremely high concentrations of quercetin, even higher than apple peels, plus unique sulfur compounds that have powerful anti-inflammatory effects, specifically on blood vessels. These compounds help prevent the kind of inflammation that makes leg veins sluggish and inefficient. European researchers studied the effects of onion skin extract on elderly people with circulation problems. After 6 weeks, participants showed significantly improved blood flow in their lower extremities, reduced swelling, and reported feeling much more stable and confident when walking. To prepare onion skin tea, save the dry, papery outer layers from 3 to 4 onions. Rinse them gently to remove any dirt, then simmer them in 3 cups of water for 15 minutes. The resulting tea will have a light golden color and a mild, slightly sweet taste. Strain and drink 1 to 2 cups twice daily. You can prepare a week's worth at once and store it in the refrigerator. Many seniors tell me they actually prefer this to expensive circulation supplements because it's gentle, natural, and costs virtually nothing. Now, here's what I promised you. Your complete implementation system. You don't need to start all 6 foods at once. In fact, I recommend you don't. Here's your week-by-week plan. Week 1-2 Foundation Phase. Start with just 1 food. Choose either fish skin, if circulation is your main concern, or rice water foot soaks, if swelling is your primary issue. Get comfortable with this one change before adding anything else. Week 3-4 Building Phase. Add your second food. If you started with fish skin, add eggshell membrane. If you started with rice water, add potato peels. Now you're addressing 2 different aspects of leg health simultaneously. Week 5-6 Acceleration Phase. Incorporate the remaining foods from your first 4, rice water or fish skin, plus potato peels or eggshell membrane. You're now using 4 of the 6 foods and should start noticing significant improvements. Week 7-8 Complete System. Add apple peel tea and onion skin tea. You're now using all 6 foods in a sustainable, manageable way. Here's your daily routine once you reach the complete system. Morning. Apple peel tea. Incorporate eggshell membrane powder into breakfast. Eat baked potato peels as a snack. Midday. Include fish skin in your lunch preparation. Evening. Rice water foot soak while drinking onion skin tea. Remember, these foods work synergistically. Fish skin and eggshell membrane rebuild your infrastructure. Rice water and potato peels reduce inflammation and swelling. Apple peels and onion skins strengthen your entire circulatory system. Most people start noticing improvements within the first 2 weeks. Less evening swelling, easier morning movement, and more energy for walking. By week 6-8, many report significant improvements in walking distance, reduced stiffness, and renewed confidence in their mobility. Here's my final question for you. What's the first place you want to walk to when your legs feel strong and light again? Share that vision in the comments below, because having a specific goal makes this journey even more meaningful. Your legs have carried you through decades of life. With these 6 traditional Japanese foods, they can carry you confidently into all the years ahead. Your walking days aren't behind you. They're just getting started. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Here's to your strongest, most confident walking days ahead.